What's up, people? Good morning. And, oh man. And I'm going to just put together a couple of chords and, a couple of things that I have in my head. See if I could get this song written today, and I'm gonna see if I could sell it to an artist. Let's see, what happens. Gonna do our thing. Hope everybody's doing well this morning. right. What we're doing right now, just to mark the rhythm, right? You know, so that when we're playing, when we throw the guitars on top, it all lines up really nicely. You know, then we add all of the other elements, but you know, we need a clock, you know, something to follow. 4 minutes to 5 minutes, you know. So I'm gonna do this beat, you know, this rhythm section, about 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes long, or you know. See, right now I already have an idea of this song. I got some lyrics. I have a concept. It's already in my head. I'm just bringing it out. The music and you. Oh man, today I got this idea for a song. I just have the ability to bring it out there, to produce the music for it, and to, turn it into what's in here. I can actually bring it out. I can create it. Other people can't. Some people might have a song in their head, but it can't come out. When God gives you talent, it comes out. It's an expression. See, all you guys are hearing is the rhythm section right now. That rhythm is a Peruvian cajon. Cajon is like a square box from Peru. It's a percussion instrument. And right now, that rhythm is playing at 95 beats per minute. Right? So we have to know all these things. Okay, I think that's long enough. Alright, so here we go. Now you're going to hear what I have so far overlaid on this. One, two, three, four. Turn it off. Here it goes. See, we need that so we know when we're going to come in. Everything else is going to line up with this. One, two, three. I don't like that sound. I had a better sound earlier. We changed that guitar sound. quantize that guitar. All right, let's. Alright. To give it a little bit of thing, we're going to add a bass. Alright, because a bass, you know, bass. Right. So let's check out the bass. If I have another bass. My bass is a little too aggressive. Alright, yeah, we're gonna use that one. Alright, here it comes. Alright, here it comes. Do now, I've noticed that the key is a little high, so when the when the climax of that, when we sing the song, all right. Okay, so now we're half a key down. That should be a little more comfortable. Now what we're gonna add now we're gonna add a piano to it. Piano. Alright, here we come. We're adding piano there. We got that piano in there. So now we got the guitar, we have that Peruvian drum going, we got the bass, we got the piano. Alright, now this is just invented, guys. So it goes something like this. If I mess up. Como luna se levanta sobre el río de tus sueños y el ocaso de la noche persevera como un sueño. Tu mirada encantadora hechizando hasta la brisa y una estrella ilumina cada paso que ella pisa. Viviré bajo tu sombra, tu guardián que aún se esconde. Oh, viviré en tus pupilas, no sé cuándo y no sé dónde. Volaré en tus cielos, aunque alas no tenga. Nadaré en tus mares y que no me detengan. Flotaré como espuma donde el viento me quiera. That's all. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna add. See, this is how you produce music. This is called music production. You know, this isn't just making a little beat, you know, like other people do. It's not about a little beat, guys. So we got here Salsa files. Alright, let's find a nice conga. We're going to use that right there. All right. cowbell to that. We're producing salsa here, so you know. Alright, so let's file import and let's find a cowbell. How it is. There we go. There you go. We're going to use that one. Y'all see you see how it's taking form now? See the difference? Como luna se levanta sobre el río desposando hasta la brisa, una estrella que ilumina cada paso que ella pisa. Viviré bajo tu sombra, tu guardia que aún se esconde. No sé cuándo y no sé dónde. Volaré en tu cielo, aunque alas no tenga. Nadaré en tus mares y que no me detenga. Flotaré como espuma donde el viento me lleve. Seré tu guardián de la noche. Alright, something like that. Alright, something to that effect. Now, the piano. Da, 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 da. That's where the chorus starts. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna, from that point on, we're gonna put some salsa in this one. right, so let's listen to it now from the top. And we gotta put the brass in. All right, como luna se levanta sobre el río de tus sueños y el ocaso de la noche persevera como fuego. Oh, viviré en tus pupilas, no sé cuándo y no sé dónde. Sobre el río de tus sueños y el ocaso de la noche persevera como fuego. Mirada encantadora, hechizando hasta la brisa, y una estrella ilumina cada paso que ella pisa. Viviré bajo tu sombra, tu guardián que aún se esconde. No sé cuándo y no sé dónde. Volaré entre tu cielo, aunque a las tormentas. Nadaré entre tus mares y que no me detenga. Flotaré como espuma donde el cielo me lleva. Reference vocal. And you gotta understand, guys, this song is not for me. This song is to sell it to an artist. So we're working on this song. A lot of people ask, you know, what it is I do for a living. And you got your answer. This is what I do. You know, this is what I do. 1, 2. 1, 2, 6, no, 1, how come this? 1, 2, 2. 1, there it is. 1, 2. Alright, so that's what we're gonna do right now. Alright, put the voice. Como luna se levanta sobre el río de tus sueños. All right, let's record that part. Como luna se levanta. Hold up. This is So we need some more pep on here. All right. Joveño, tu mirada encantadora, hechizando hasta la brisa, una estrella ilumina cada paso que ella pisa. Viviré bajo tu sombra, tu guardián que aún se esconde. Oh, viviré en tus pupilas, no sé cuándo y no sé dónde. Volaré en tu... No, volaré. Volaré entre tu cielo, aunque alas no tenga. Nadaré entre tus mares y que no me detengan. Flotaré como espuma donde el viento me lleva. Nadaré entre las horas de tu cuerpo. Nadaré entre las olas de tu cuerpo hasta que el tiempo no venga. Alright, there you go. That's a reference vocal. Alright, it's not perfect. Still have my voice isn't clear this morning, but at least we have the reference vocal. Alright, so now alright, so that now you're hearing, you're seeing everything in real time, guys. Here it comes. Alright. So now we're gonna hear everything that I've been doing. Ilumina cada paso que ella pisa. Viviré bajo tu sombra, tu guardián que aún se esconde. Oh, viviré en tus pupilas, no sé cuándo y no sé dónde. Volaré entre las olas de tu cuerpo hasta que el tiempo no venga. That's the bass of the song. Alright, that's the bass. Alright, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the Latin percussion from the beginning. We're gonna, just put the Latin percussion. And like in the beginning here, when it starts with the conga, it has this, we'll do a build-up. So in the beginning, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the bongos instead. Okay? So it'll be the bongos and the Peruvian cajon. All right, let's import the bongos. Let's find some nice sounding bongos that we can use for now. Yeah, I like this one. All right, we're gonna use this. All right, we're gonna use these bongos in the beginning. All right. Alright, so let's see how they sound with the congas. Right. Raise the volume on them. Alright. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy them all the way to the end of the song, and then we'll change them up and vary them later. Alright, so right now, alright, so now we have the bongos, we have the congas. We're going to remove the congas from that beginning, all right? So I want the congas to come in later, you know what I'm saying? They'll come in later. So, all right, so let's delete this.
Como luna se levanta sobre el río de tus sueños y el ocaso de la noche persevera como dueño. Tu mirada encantadora, hechizando hasta la brisa, una estrella ilumina cada paso que ella pisa. Viviré bajo tu sombra, tu guardián que aún se esconde.
See, you need some background vocals there. Okay, right there. You hear the bongo now clear? All right, cascareo. All right, so let's import. Let's find in our files we have congas, timbales, cascara. No, I don't like that. Alright, so we're gonna add the cascareo in the beginning. It sounds like this.
Como luna se levanta sobre el río de tus sueños y el ocaso de la noche persevera como dueño. Tu mirada encantadora, hechizando hasta la brisa, una estrella ilumina cada paso que ella pisa. Viviré bajo tu sombra, tu guardián que aún se esconde.
Okay. After that, then the cascareo will turn into campaneo, which is a different thing. So we already did the cascareo. Now we're gonna do it. Alright, that's the one. That's the campaneo we're gonna use now. Right. So when all the percussion kicks in and everything, then the timbal from the. Alright, and what we're gonna do is, there you go. That's perfect volume for it. Alright, so we're gonna run that campaneo all the way to the end of the song. Alright, repeat. Let's run this maybe. I don't know, let's run it 30 times and then we'll cut it out later. Okay. Alright, so let's check it out. Let's see what we got so far. Here's the bongo.
Como luna se levanta.
You hear the cascareo with the bongos. So if you listen here, we add a little reverb to the bongo, and it gives it like a magic. Hear it? Hear it without, sounds dry. With the reverb, you see? And it just gives it that little touch of magic. So let's play what we got so far.
Como luna se levanta sobre el río de tus sueños y el ocaso de la noche persevera como dueño. Tu mirada encantadora, hechizando hasta la brisa, una estrella ilumina cada paso que ella pisa. Viviré bajo tu sombra, tu guardián que aún se esconde.
Hear that?
Viviré en tus pupilas, no sé cuándo y no sé dónde. Volaré entre tu cielo, aunque alas no tenga. Nadaré entre tus mares y que no me detengan. Flotaré como espuma donde el viento me lleva. Nadaré entre las olas de tu cuerpo hasta que el tiempo no venga.
Alright, so that's what we got so far. Any questions, any comments, feel free. I'll add it on later. But like for example in the vocals right
Y
here.
avisa, viviré bajo sombra, tu guardián que aún se esconde.
Alright, like right there, that part right there, you add a second vocal. Alright, just listen to the second vocal. That's why you need to know music and you need to know harmonics and you need to know that.
Luna se levanta sobre el río de tus sueños y el ocaso de la noche persevera como dueño.
Right here, we're gonna come in with the second vocal.
Hechizando hasta la brisa, una estrella ilumina cada paso que ella pisa. Viviré bajo tu sombra, tu guardián que aún se esconde.
Second vocal.
Oh, viviré en tus pupilas, no sé cuándo y no sé dónde. Volaré entre tus cielos.
Okay, and right there, before the chorus comes in, we need the percussion breaks, you know. So I'm thinking like a drum, like a timbal roll or something like that, you know. But that's basically, I'm gonna talk to you guys for a little bit. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Have you understanding the process? You saw that within an hour, I'm already halfway through a production. In order to do this level of production, you need to know how to play piano. You know, you need to know how to play an instrument, a guitar. Most producers know how to play multiple instruments. You know, if you meet producers, they play piano, they play bass, they play trumpet. You know, you have to know music. Now, it doesn't mean you have to be in like a music school per se. You know what I mean? And you know, because I wasn't formally trained, but I've produced stuff for Universal Music and for record labels. So, you know, and I've written for many. You do know gotta know what you're doing. You know, you have to know how to play an instrument. You have to know how to do harmonics, how to do background vocals. You gotta know as well. But you know, some producers they can't really sing, but they sing the notes, and it gives the artist the idea of, you know, where you come in. Usually, like I take like 2 to 3 days to produce it. I'm generally done like on the first day, generally. But what happens is it starts to sound the same. So you want to go back and you know and check things. Some things sound good now. Later you're like, no man, that's not. And that process is what takes a little bit longer. So when I get a customer and I produce a salsa song, it is a 3-day job. You know, in my stuff. So it sounds very realistic, and I can, you know, give people better prices. But this song itself, like if you have like an original song, you want me to produce it, I'll charge you about $300 to $350. You know, if the song is simple, you know, I cut people a break. You know, if the song is complicated, immediately I'm like, yo, that's $350, and I usually deliver it within 2 to 3 working days. You know, and that's what I do for a living. I do music production. I do music videos for artists. I do, you know, all kind of audio visual work. That's my field of expertise. That's what I do. Right now, the music industry is not in the greatest shape. You know, things are really at a low point. I mean, there was a point that I was actually making really good money producing music and doing stuff. But things are, you know, have slowed down the industry, and a lot of people, you know, especially the genre of music that I do, you know, right now most of the music that's coming out is all, you know, just beats and R&B and hip hop, which doesn't require this level of expertise to produce, which is detrimental to us. But you know, I mean, we can't do nothing about it. But at the end of the day, you know, if you want to do music, you want to do salsa, you want to do bachata, merengue, ballads, you know, stuff like that, or music scores for your movies and stuff like that. That's what I do. That's what I do for a living. A lot of people want to know what it is. A lot of people think I'm a DJ. That's not what we do. You know, so that's what I'm doing. So I produce music, I sing, I write, I talk about the Lord, I'm a boxer. I mean, I do a little bit of everything. And, you know, and people like what I do. People like what I do. So if you have any questions, any comments about what it is I'm doing, you know, about the song that you heard me create out of thin air in less than an hour, you know, and Any questions or comments, you know? God gave me this talent, you know, and if it wasn't for God, man, I wouldn't know, you know, I wouldn't know what I'd be doing, because my talent is me. You know what I mean? When you have a talent, you have a skill, it becomes part of who you are, you know. And in the same manner, and I don't say that, you know, to boxing, and that's why a lot of times I say I'm the best. I am the best because I put in the work, I put in the effort, you know. Any endeavor that I start doing, I make it a mission to become the best at it, an expert, you know. And that's what works for me. That's the drive that God gave me, you know. So, you know, many times some people think they're the best or the golf. I'm not going to tell you that I'm the best at golf, because I'm not, you know. I'm not the best at golf. I'm not a golf player. But if I ever decided to be a golf player, I probably would be the best at it, you know, or amongst the best, you know. And that's what we need to strive for in life, you know, to be the best. God gave me the hands, and God gave me the talent, and, you know, and the determination. So, anyways, if you guys like my videos, if you like my show, and you want to make a little contribution to the channel, you know, you can donate to the channel through PayPal, and you'd be helping me continue all of the things that I do, you know, with boxing training, with, you know, music production, with, you know, talking here about God and talking. Thank you to the people who, you know, regularly donate to the channel and keep us alive. There in the description. And thank you to all the people who donate to the channel, man. You guys know who you are to help me out. You know, you guys have been a big blessing. You know, so we're taking any questions now. Any questions, comments? Questions and comments. We have 3 people watching, and they have no comments. You know, so I invite you to help us out. You know, donate to the channel, help us continue our mission, help us, you know, continue doing what we're doing. If I forget the title of the song, then I'm gonna be hours looking for it. There you go. Now I won't forget the title of the song. Right now, for example, I'll take this song and I'll shop it around to the record companies and to artists in the record companies. And if an artist wants to record this song, then after I do that, I negotiate it with them. I negotiate the rights and stuff, and I can sell them like half the publishing, you know. So I can make off of this song alone about $1,600, you know. That would be half of the publishing, and then when the song comes out, I still generate royalties. So, you know, that's a way that us composers, you know, make money off of songs. You know, write a song, we'll sell it to an artist, to a record label. You know, they'll keep half of the publishing. And, you know, sometimes if the artist is really famous, a lesser known artist, then we take some money up front, you know, and we, I mean, every deal is different. Some people might want to outright buy the song from me. You know, once I'm finished the song and everything, they'll want to buy it from me, and they're like, look, we'll give you $5,000 for the song, and that's it. And if the song becomes a hit, then you don't make anything. You just made that. I've made that kind of a deal before. And then when the song has blown up, then I'm kind of kicked. I'll start moving things around and sell it to, you know, to an artist, and we can negotiate something with the. I don't know what's gonna happen, but we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, and Any questions? Any the music that you write, the songs that you write? I mean, in order for these artists to like grab them and record them, they either want some songwriter rights, like you have to give them songwriter credit even if they didn't write the song. Either that or just sell it all outright to them. I mean, some shit. There's a lot of shit that happens. Sometimes you'll have to sell a song, and they'll want their name as the writer. And it's hard to get used to that one. But I've had to do that one too. Behind the scenes, when music comes out, when artist comes out. Ah, man. So, any questions or comments before I roll? Man, it's 9:48 already. Nine 48.